Today, I show you how I split tasks across 4 models so I get speed, safety, and quality without bleeding money. Hello, I'm Jeremy Grove, founder of Media Data Fusion. Today, I'm showing you my current AI stack, where GLM 4.7 carries the load, Opus 4.5 is called upon for deep backend logic only when needed, Codex 5.2 is used for security and debugging, and Gemini 3 Pro is used for front-end work when the others don't nail it. Cost to performance ratio is definitely something that everyone should be paying attention to, especially with provider lock-in. I think Anthropic demonstrates the need for this all the time. Opus 4.5 is definitely, it is the best model, but not by much. And they're really trying to build a moat around it, and I don't think that's possible. GLM 4.7 is a very, very good model, and they have really, really good pricing. For me, the best performance to cost ratio is with GLM. So that is my current workhorse. We are January 2026, towards the end. That could change. Kimi 2.5 just dropped. We'll have to do an evaluation to that and add that to the benchmark suite. These models will be changing, but I would advise any developer or even a hobbyist to not get locked in to one provider or one tool, to stay nimble, because things will evolve. Okay, so GLM 4.7 for me can handle almost all the tasks, but there are many use cases where I would need to use another LM. So specifically, security and debugging, Codex 5.2, which I have not added to my benchmark suite yet, but I have Codex 5.1, and you can get an idea on there. That's available at MediaDataFusion.com under the resources in the benchmark suite, because 5.2 is better than 5.1, but it's really good at security audits and debugging. It's quite good at that. I would say it's the top on this one. For the back end, Opus is the king of this. It is the best. But like I said, GLM 4.7, especially for an experienced developer as myself, a lot of these things I don't need Opus to do. So it's really going to come down to a time situation, because I will pay more for the best model. But Opus 4.5 is not head and shoulders above everybody else. It's a little bit above. So it's cost to performance ratio. But for those deep back-end wiring tasks where I'm not confident in where GLM is at, I would call on Opus for that. And then on the front end, Gemini 3 Pro is quite good at front-end development. But this is only when needed. So I won't call on it for all front-end work, only where I feel like I need a little something extra that GLM 4.7 was not able to execute with my instructions or my manual coding. Then I will call upon Gemini 3 Pro. Okay, and this will also take me to my current stack of coding tools that I use daily. So for me, my number one tools, I prefer the CLI. For myself, I think it's faster. The more that you put these in the IDE, I think it slows it down a little bit. But my favorites are Factory and Claude Code. Okay, I think it's hard. I like these tools equally. I use them both simultaneously all the time. They're very, very good tools. I have a Claude Code multi-provider setup and switcher guide available at my website, MediaDataFusion.com, under the resources section. And I also have one for Factory Droid on how to set that up with multiple providers. These are two very good CLI tools. They're my top two. And another good one that I would recommend for people that are new to development, I know we have a lot of new joiners to development. I think OpenCode is a really good one for new joiners. It's got some really good safeguards. This I really like about OpenCode. It's got really good safeguards. It's kind of set up. You don't really have to develop it. You can really just log in directly with your OpenAI account. I think the Anthropic blocked theirs from being in there, but you can log in with your Z.ai coding plan. And it's got really good guardrails. So an inexperienced developer could use open code and probably be a little safer. So I would recommend open code for beginners, and then you would maybe move up to Factory Droid or Claude code. Kilo code is another good one, and you're going to use this one inside your IDE. I do really like Kilo code. It has a lot of nice features. Um, so I would probably say this is my third one. I don't know between these two, but I like Kilo Code. It's still got a ways to go from me to be on the level of Factory Droid and Claude Code, but it's a different experience. So Google Anti-Gravity, people, I think people have highly overrated this tool. So for me, the only good thing about Google Anti-Gravity is it's free. Like literally, that's it. For me, the tool is not good. I mean, maybe it will be, but it's not good right now. Um, After, especially if you're on a large code base, this thing, it doesn't follow instructions correctly. And I've set it up just like I set up any other tool. I'm definitely an experienced developer. I do not think this tool is great, but the one good thing is it's free. So you might get a few prompts out of it where it's behaving like you want it to behave, but it also depends on what you're working with. I'm working with a lot of different large projects, and the browser tool doesn't work. For me, the tool has a lot to be desired. So for me, Google Anti-Gravity would not be my go-to tool for anything other than it's free. So you can log in with any Google account. So that's the advantage of that. And a lot of people are claiming that you can use Opus 4.5. You can, but for me, it's not real Opus 4.5 usage. There's no way I'm going to get the real Opus output through this Google Anti-Gravity that I would get through Claude Code or even Factory. Not even close. And I will have to add some. I'm going to add some agentic coding to the benchmark suite um, to prove that case. But it is free, and you might be able to get some good front end work out of it. But be careful. I think Google Anti-Gravity is not that great. And I see a lot of YouTube videos of people giving it a lot of praise. I'm not sure how they're coming to that conclusion. But Factory Droid, Claude Code, my top two. Kilo Code's probably coming in third. But OpenCode is also a good tool. I think it has the one thing I like about OpenCode, it has good guardrails in there. So I recommend OpenCode for new beginners. So now let's look at the pricing. So we got Z.ai. This is the API pricing. And I would recommend myself to go with a Z.ai coding plan. But even on the API pricing, you can see it's clearly hands down the best bang for your buck out of all these providers. And we'll jump over to my benchmark suite and compare the performance. But you can see the API pricing. But here's where the real kicker comes in is with these coding plans. And with Open Code, you could log in with your OpenAI and you could use Codex 5.2 with your $20 ChatGPT Plus plan. So the Z.ai coding plans, huge value. And I have an affiliate link in the description. And if you're interested, for me, it's the best value out there. I'm on the highest plan that they have. I'm definitely sold on it. When I first started using it a while back, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, but now I'm very confident and I believe in their product. So Google has plans. I know some of you have the Google plan. I would definitely recommend using Gemini 3 Pro inside of another tool. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with Anthropic's plans. So cost to performance for me is hands down GLM, and then supplement as needed with the others. So here is the benchmark suite, and you can see my the top four. You got Opus 4.5 coming in, overall score 80.3. You got Gemini 3 Pro coming in 75.9. And GLM 4.7 at a 74, and Codex 5.1 Max coming at 72.2. I have not added Codex 5.2 yet. I will try to get that updated here in the next week or so, and that'll be available at MediaDataFusion.com under the resources. There's Benchmark Suite. It's a similar interface, almost just like this. This is my internal tool that I'm showing you right now. 5.2 is definitely better than 5.1, and 5.1 wasn't bad. So actually it'll be interesting to see where it comes in here. Okay. But you can see, and this is 26 tests, and GLM 4.7, for me, it's clearly the best value for the money. And we'll go over to the use case comparison, and you'll see GLM is a good all-around model. It's very consistent. It's reliable. For me, this is not just a cheap Chinese tool. This is an all-around solid model. As you can see, it's consistent across all points. You can see it compared to Gemini and Opus. So the clear winner on the back end was Opus, and we know that Opus really thrives on back end development. Gemini 3 Pro is coming in, Opus, and then 5.1 Max. So I will be updating this guide with 5.2, but that'll just give you an idea. And I'll just show you a couple of the tests that were run. There are 26 tests in total. This is the Sonic style performer. This is Gemini 3 Pro, and Gemini scored only 60 on this one. The controls are not responsive, and they don't work. So it's actually non-functional, although it did okay on the UI. But the jump feature is not working. Quite a few things are not working. The spin works, but the jump feature is not working on this one. So that affected a lot of its scores on that. Let's go to the next one. So GLM 4.7. So you can see the controls. And this is pretty much fully functional. You got forward, back with the jump work. It's actually a fully functional. You can get over there. Now it did lose. It's got that annoying thing in the background. But these were run one prompt tests. So all things considered, it was able to get 80 out of 100. All right, let's go to the next one. And we have GPT 5.1 Codex coming in at 74%. And this one's functional, but it's not great. And it's functional. It's got some nice features in it, but it's not fully functional. Because it looks like when you get to this part, you fall down no matter what. Let's see if I can get over that. Nope, it seems like you can't get over that. Let me try to get over. Nope, no matter what I do. But we'll fiddle with that later. Okay, so that's Codex 5.1 Max. And like I said, 5.2, I will try to get updated on the benchmark suite, and we'll have a look at that. And Opus 4.5, which was the winner on this one. It actually did a really fantastic job. Fully functional, but fully functional. Controls, left, right, jump. This one's fully functional. So Opus did a very good job on this one. This one is fully functional. So the clear winner on this one was Opus 4.5 with 93.5. So the next one, we're going to look at the Mac OS desktop environment. So basically the prompt was to render a Mac OS Big Sur desktop simulation at 1920 by 1080. All of the instructions include those. And so that's also reflected in the score. So here was Gemini 3 Pro's attempt. Let's have a look at that. So it actually rendered this, definitely not in 1920 by 1080. So not following those instructions at all. None of the menu items work. Well, that does work. Let's see if the light dark mode. No. Light dark mode doesn't work. Not very functional. Let's see if the clock works. No. The messages. Literally nothing works. Let's see. Oh, that opened. See if it'll take notes. Let's save it. Okay. Settings, no work. Let's see if Siri works. Siri does not work. So actually a very poor job on this one. Let's go to GLM 4.7. GLM got a 69 on this one. So GLM, it's looking better just by first look. Let's see if the light and dark mode works. Slightly. The dim features work a little bit. Okay. See the file menu. Okay, that's not working. Documents? No. See if Finder's working. Okay. Top buttons? Nothing. Let's see if Finder works here. Safari. Okay, at least it did put a placeholder there. Placeholder for messages. Placeholder for folders. Let's see if the calculator works. Okay, cool. Let's see. 9 times 6. No. Calculator is not functional, so calculator is not working correctly. Let's see if Siri works. Open calculator. Okay. So it did open calculator, so it received some points for that. So it got 69 out of 100. Codex 5.1. It looks like it did very poorly. Yeah, nothing. So goose egg on that one. Let's check out Opus. Finder. Okay, it's got Finder. So most of these are non-functional. Okay, let's see if any of the settings work. Okay, dark mode. Okay. It's got a better, more functional dark mode. See if any of these items. Nothing for that. Okay. Oh. They're non-functional, but not bad. And these are non-functional. Let's see if it got Siri to work. Open calculator. Okay, now I did a good job on that. 9 times 6. Okay, calculator works. So it got a few things right. It got the Siri aspect right, but it missed a lot of things. The aspect ratio, as you can see, it's got like a double screen. So it did fall quite a bit on the scoring. And this is a true orbital simulation. Looks like Gemini got a 76 on this one. Let's have a look and see what its output. Looks like I gotta zoom out. So Gemini did not bad on this one. Let's see if I can toggle out. Looks like I'll have to zoom out. It's got the speed. Okay. Then put the labels on, the trails. So Gemini did pretty good on that one. 76 for Gemini on this one. GLM 4.7, actually a little bit below Gemini. Let's look at its output. Okay. Also, it did handle most of the task. Let's see if I can go right onto Venus. But they're definitely shadows. Can we take those shadows off? Let's see. Shadows off. Let's see if we can get those shadows off. Okay. There, that's a little bit better. So that's probably in the speed of the days, etc. So it did complete most of the task. That was GLM 4.7. All right, let's look at Codex 5.1 Max, and you can see with the score 45, this is not its strong suit. And you can see the aspect ratio is way off. So it didn't follow the instructions. I mean, it looked like it could have done it, but it really got the aspect ratio off. It's like all boxed up here in the corner. Completely out of the aspect ratio. So it definitely lost a lot of points for that. So here's Opus on this. Let's take the shadows off. I know on this one. And let's do Mars. See if we can zoom out. So Opus is definitely a little bit off on this one. Maybe we need to take the speed down. So the UI is definitely a little bit, needs a little bit to be desired. But once you get a hold of the UI, It did fulfill some of the requirements, but it's not polished. So that's the score on that. Now I want to compare some of these reasoning tasks. So I have some very hard reasoning tasks, a couple of different categories. Looks like Gemini did really good on this one. 82. GLM came in at 55, did not do as well. Codex 5.1 was a clear shiner on this one, 95. And Opus at 82. Oh no, sorry. And Opus at 65. So this is where you'll see the Codex models. They're actually quite smart. They're really good at security and debugging, and I really like to use them in this way, not the actual hands-on coding for anything else. Let's look at another reasoning test. And this is actually a very hard test. Looks like GLM got 59, Gemini 3 Pro bombed on that one. 62 for Codex, and yeah, 34 for Opus. So 2 reasoning tests in a row where Codex 5.1 Max is the clear winner. And I will have to run Codex 5.2, which is actually better than this one. So it works very well in that aspect. In conclusion, GLM 4.7 is the workhorse, easily the best cost to performance ratio. However, you can complement this with Opus 4.5 for deep backend logic when needed. And for additional security audits and debugging, Codex 5.2. And for front-end work, where the others don't nail it, Gemini 3 Pro. If you want additional playbooks and the benchmark suite, they're available at my website, MediaDataFusion.com, under the resources section. That's it for me. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.